Hey guys, how's it going? You know, it's the beginning of a new year. I'll be completely bald. Yellow Ackie, Reptile. Hey guys, how's it going? I know I'm in a different setup again. Trust me, we'll be getting back to things, although I do have an important collab coming up that will really excite you guys. But anyway, today we're talking about 5 struggles of reptile keeping. I got some good ones. I'm going to be staying away from the obvious ones like money, taming. I got a lot of good suggestions on Discord. By the way, join Discord. There's a link below to invite you there. We're chatting all the time on there, but I'm going to stay away from the obvious ones. I'm going to get into ones that are kind of personal to me that I feel like I observed that aren't as talked about as much, and I think something you guys can still relate to. So let's get into it, and we'll start at number 5. At number 5, we're talking about finding information. Good information. So let's talk a minute about Googling. As a computer scientist, I understand Google pretty well, the behind-the-scenes aspects. I actually specialize in natural language processing and information retrieval, which has a lot to do with how Google works. And let me tell you, you're getting recommended a lot of articles that are quite old, just because they've been popular in the past. There's a lot of outdated articles, especially on, I want to say, niche reptiles, and that could be even something like an Ackie Monitor. There's a newly published Ackie Monitor care guide out there on Reptiles. Maria put a lot of work into it, and I, recommended what I could to help her out. But that's not going to be readily recommended right now because it's new and there hasn't been enough clicks on it. But compared to articles on Ackies that have been clicked on over the last 10 years or so, maybe even longer, those are going to be promoted and they might not be as relevant. So it's hard to locate good information out there on specific species and distinguish between different pieces of information on what's good, what's bad, what's up to date. Now, there should be some metadata, which is information relating to the article, such as when it was published, available, so you can go off of that if you see it. If you see anything older than like 2010 on an Ackie article, you might want to look for something more up to date, but it can be quite a task, and it could take you a whole day to do. So this is definitely a struggle of reptile keeping. Trust me, I can, like I said, spend an entire day, even longer, researching a reptile, trying to find good information, and eventually you really just got to work towards talking to someone directly, whether it's on Facebook or whatever avenue you have here on YouTube, right here, giving out information, up-to-date information on Ackie Monitors. So it could be quite a task, and it could be quite a struggle, and it's really concerning, because this is a life we're talking about. We want to do what's best. You also want to know what else is best? Subscribing to this channel, so go ahead, check that lower right hand corner, hit that subscribe button. I would very much appreciate it, and let's go on to number 4. Number 4 is so relevant to my life that I can feel it in my back right now, and that's getting motivated to do your daily maintenance, whatever, after a long day. Trust me, especially right now, I am taking 4 graduate courses. 1 graduate course is equal to 2 undergraduate courses, so try taking 8 undergraduate courses for those of you who are in college or have been in college. It's quite a task, plus I have a newborn son. Oh man, I just can really feel the struggle right now. I love my reptiles, but sometimes after a long day, I really just want to skip doing my maintenance, maybe even just go to bed or lie on the couch. It's just a normal human feeling to be like that. If you're stressed, you need a break, you need to relax. I mean, what else have we learned from The Sims? But really, you can't be doing that with these reptiles. They are living things. It's really unforgiving, this hobby, in terms of not being consistent. So you need to make sure you're on top of that, and like I said, it's a struggle. I feel you guys. Yeah, I know. And any hobby, you really need to be able to take a break, and this hobby you really can, and that could add to a lot of stress, even if it's something you love. So this is definitely a struggle of the reptile keeping hobby. Moving on to number 3, it's finding a proper exotic vet in your area. And by proper, I mean someone specializing in reptiles, having probably some reptile-related research done in their past. This can be quite a difficult task. I see this a lot online. I have been pretty fortunate to always find someone in my area, even in a very remote area that I'm currently living in. But there are veterinarians out there that have the requirements to take care of reptiles, it can still be quite difficult because even exotic vets with backgrounds in reptiles, you know, there's so many reptile species that you can even get a bad one, or not really bad one, but one that really doesn't know too much about your species, and one in which you might even know a little bit more about the species than they do. But you still need to talk to them, you still need medicine when a particular issue comes up. It's not like you can kind of cut corners there or go around them and do it yourself. Also, they kind of understand the inner workings probably better of reptiles in general than you do. But the general problem here is that exotic vets can be difficult to locate, ones that you need and are particular to your situation. Speaking of Maria and Reptile, she does have a nice locate an exotic vet around you, a reputable exotic vet around you thing on her website, Reptiles, which I keep saying 1,000 times. So check that out if you're struggling to find one. You can definitely locate them, and if you got to drive several hours, you got to do that. You know, it's for the well-being of your reptile, living thing. I'm going to say living thing so many times in this video, but you have to go around and do that. I understand it's a struggle though, and that's why it's number 3 on this list. Number 2 is finding a large enclosure, often needing to be customized for a reptile. It's much easier if you can get an Exoterra or a Zoomed enclosure. Just get a glass terrarium at your local reptile shop. But when it comes to custom orders, there's a lot of problems. Number 1 is if you go for cheaper options, more affordable options, let's say like Animal Plastics, they make fantastic custom large enclosures, PVC, everything you want. But it could take a year to get them, and that sometimes, most often than not, is not really, it doesn't pan out for a lot of people, let's just say that. And the other option is you can get them within a month or two. That's definitely out there, but you need to pay like 3 times the price. In my humble opinion, and there's plenty of good companies out there who do commercial enclosures and do fine work, there is really not a go-to company, I feel like, for custom enclosures, and this is quite a struggle. It's because, like I said, you either have the affordable options that can't really get you an enclosure when you need it by, and then you have good enclosure makers, but who charge a fortune, much more than it really costs to make a custom enclosure of that size, or whatever you need. So it's really a struggle to figure out what's best. Do you plan ahead 10 months in the future, which can be quite hard to do? Or do you just go ahead and shed out a month's salary for an enclosure for a reptile? I mean, this goes right into the topic of money, but it's kind of a subset of that, but it's really a struggle, and I feel this quite often. I don't have reptiles that you can really put in glass terrariums, so all my enclosures need to be custom ordered or built by me, which if you can do that, that's probably the best option you can go with in terms of turnaround time and the amount it costs. So get good at DIY. That's probably the best way to get around the struggle, but definitely, like the others, a struggle. Now, number 1, it's a little bit more of a niche, but I think this is the number 1 struggle in terms of reptile keeping. Not many of you might go through this, or maybe you do, I'm not exactly sure, but I've gone through it, and I'm gonna go through it again, and that's moving with reptiles. This is such a struggle, guys. I had one of the most stressful days of my life moving my reptiles down to where I was going to grad school, or where I'm going to grad school right now. I'm gonna have to do it again in a month or so with even more reptiles. And this is not a simple trip. It's about 8 hours. I couldn't even imagine doing further, like going across the country of the United States. That would be insane to me. But basically, this is definitely the number 1 struggle of the reptile hobby. If you ever have to do this, and being as costly as reptile keeping is, you probably aren't buying a home anytime soon, so you're renting, which means you're eventually going to probably want to move and get your own place, and maybe you want to move to get your own facility for your reptiles, just so it's away from everything. You don't have to keep it into all the moves you might be doing. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. You can see how crazy it is by me just kind of fleshing out my life in the next year to you guys right now. But if you ever have to move, really plan it out. take advantage of anything you can to ease that process. I'll probably be moving my guys over a month or two period, just so it's not stressful and I could really move when I want to, because you're gonna have to go there, set up an enclosure there when there are enclosures already at the previous place that they're currently living in. So you might need 2 enclosures, and how do you break one enclosure down while, you know, they need to be in something? You guys get it. It's crazy. It's insane. It's the #1 struggle of reptile keeping. That's #1. Anyway, guys, these are my 5 struggles of reptile keeping. Let me know what you think and what your struggles exactly are in a comment below. I also want to say thank you guys for, you know, bearing with me this week. I missed a short yesterday. I just couldn't get it in. Just hectic with having a death in the family and then doing this collab coming up. So it's just been a lot of traveling. You guys know I'm not even home right now. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me, and I hope the quality hasn't dipped at all. I know it's a little dark in here, but you guys get what I mean. Anyway, couple announcements before wrapping up. Time to shout out the patrons. As you guys know, I don't have my stickers for my forehead this week. Hopefully next week I'll remember for those videos. I gotta bring them on my collab, so fingers crossed I don't forget. But I want to shout you guys out nonetheless. Shout out to Kat and Rick, Darian J, Smooth Cat, Adam B, David T, Angela L, Ellen M, Stephanie S, Toothy Chicken, Hex, and Crisp Cuts. I really appreciate your support. Man, I got this down now, guys. There's many of you, but I'm catching back up. You guys, too, can support the channels for as little as $1 a month. Check the top right for more information. Tier 3, get you on my forehead. And of course, a huge shout out to REPTILES. You could get $5 off your first purchase of REPTILES by using code Professor Herp at checkout. There's a link below in the description that automatically applies it to your order. Just click on it. REPTILES is a great nutritious diet for tegus, hognose snakes, blue-tongued skinks, and more. Definitely recommend checking them out. Code Professor Herp at checkout. And that's it for this video, guys. I appreciate you watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Comments really help, so definitely leave one below. Also, check out the merch that's to the left of my head. Right to your screen, Teespring link in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.